Hello, I'm Dr. Calvin Lee, and I was asked to record this video by Brown University to talk about what my life is like now and also to talk about why I chose Brown University's PLME program. I'm a general surgeon living in Modesto, California, and I also practice acupuncture. My wife is a plastic surgeon, and she's also a graduate of Brown University. We practice together in a practice called surgical artistry, and we both enjoy music outside of our medical practice. I personally play the violin and piano, and recently had the opportunity to play violin at Carnegie Hall with the YouTube Symphony Orchestra, and I also had solo opportunities in Taipei, Macau, and Hong Kong. Back in 1989, that's when I enrolled in Brown University. That's 20 years ago. It is now 2009. I was accepted to Harvard University and Stanford University and of course Brown University, and I had to choose between some very good universities, and ultimately I chose Brown University because it had the PLME program and the philosophy that a broad-based background makes for a good doctor. It sounds like a very simple concept, but it was a concept that I personally believed in, and I felt like some of the other schools had more of a very focused approach to becoming a doctor, and so I felt that maybe some of my artistic qualities might be stifled a little bit at some of the other universities, but I may be wrong, but that was the impression I got, and I chose Brown because it had this philosophy that broad-based background is a good thing, and I believe that to today, and I continue to pursue broad-based interests outside of medicine, and I bring expertise from other fields into medicine. Like I try to bring my I don't know if I want to call it expertise, but my interest in music and my interest in making myself a better musician. I use those techniques to make myself a better surgeon. For example, a complex musical passage needs to be broken down into much simpler notes and components. And that's the same thing we can do in surgery. And I think just using the same skill set that I have in music applies to the skills of making complex surgical tasks into smaller, simpler tasks and combining them together into one complex task. So what else is special about the PLME? The other thing that appealed to me in the PLME was the fact that it was eliminating some of the hurdles that we had to becoming a doctor. And some of the hurdles were taking additional tests and undergoing unnecessary competition. For example, instead of competing with my classmates, I turned them into friends and reliable consultants and networking individuals. By networking with them, I was able to use their expertise even to today to help me become a better doctor. So a lot of these folks are still my friends and still people I can count on to give me reliable medical advice even to this day. I can't possibly know everything there is about medicine, but it's good to know I had a friend from 20 years ago who had similar interests and struggles as I did that will offer freely information to me regarding what they are experts in today. And by combining all this expertise, I think that allows me to become a better doctor today. So a lot of the competition that might be present in other programs, I don't think was as prevalent at Brown University, and these people I still call friends today, and I think that's very valuable. The other question they had is, when did I know I wanted to become a doctor? I can't say I knew I wanted to be a doctor for sure, but it was a feeling I had in high school. I think I knew maybe even late middle school that I was very interested in medicine. That stemmed from not being the healthiest of all kids, and I ended up having to see a lot of doctors, and some of the problems I had, some of the doctors said, Calvin, it's in your head. And I thought, wow, this is really complex, and I really didn't think it was in my head, and part of me was like, I'm just going to be a doctor and figure myself out. And to this day, I really haven't really figured out myself, but it was one of those drives that made me want to pursue medicine. And it occurred early enough that I could, I knew that if I applied to the PLME program, I would eventually become a doctor through that program. I also chose the PLME program because it had the flexibility. So as I progressed through my medical studies over those 8 years, I could change my mind if I wanted to. And I haven't. And I'm very grateful for being a doctor today. But I did have several colleagues that have decided they want to become lawyers instead. And I did have some colleagues that decided they want to become lawyers and then come back to Brown University's program. And I think there was flexibility for them to become MD, JD, combined degree, which is, I think, very nice to have that program. And the last question they gave me to try to answer on this video was, did I have any advice for high school students who wanted to pursue a career in medicine? Along the way, I realized one of the most important things to being a good doctor, and probably the most important thing to becoming a doctor, is to have a good heart and to follow your heart. And it's not completely necessary to have the best brain in the world, but if you have a kind, gentle, loving, caring heart, it will guide you through your medical training. If you care about doing the best you can for your patient, you will study hard, you will do well on your tests, and you will do well for your patient ultimately. And so I think mainly have a good heart, follow your heart, and then you will be a good doctor. So good luck to you. Take care.